Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Under the Sun and Moon podcast with Michelle and Kes. Who are you?
I am Michelle.
Yeah. And I am Kes. And today we have somebody that I've mentioned quite a few times.
We have a guest.
Yeah, we have our first guest. It's my husband, Wyatt. You want to say hi, honey?
Hello.
There you go.
Welcome, Wyatt.
It just got really bright in here.
Yeah, the sun, we have no lights on in the dining room, but the sun came blinding through the window. It was great.
It is nice.
My
I like
eyes.
it. Yeah.
So, today, what are we talking about?
Today we're talking about, are we talking about mysticism in general, or are we just talking about tarot?
I mean, I've also got pendulums and things like that, and I've just got a lot of knowledge in the field in general.
So we invited Wyatt to come in and talk to us because he streams on Twitch. Okay, can you give people a little bit of background on your online streaming experience?
Well, I am a longtime content creator. I've been making content since roughly 2016. That's when I made my first YouTube video that was on the new channel, and I have continued on. Just in 2020, right before lockdown had began, I started streaming heavily. Like, I was streaming pretty much every other day, and I decided to keep going with it, and it is starting to take off pretty well. I started making videos on TikTok and YouTube, all of that, and just started making a lot more progress than I had ever been doing before, and it just kind of led into me starting to do a lot more things that I enjoy, which ended up being tarot card readings and pendulums and things of that nature, and I just started delving a lot deeper into it, that I started offering it to my viewers.
What else do you stream?
Lots of just video games in general. I'm what's known as a variety streamer.
Okay.
So I don't really have a particular place I stay for a long period of time. Like, I'll do what is known as just chatting, where I just talk to the people in my chat, or we'll play games like Apex Legends, for those who aren't familiar. Used to play a lot of League of Legends, did Call of Duty for a while, things like that, and we just bounce around constantly.
Okay.
Never staying on one game for too long.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because I already know that, but that's just because
No, I know. You're asking.
So what led you into doing tarot in particular in the stream? Because this seems like it's a newer evolution and you've really been building on it more recently.
Yeah, the thing with tarot is, and fortune telling in general, is it's not a very widely accepted thing, especially on Twitch. There are a lot of streamers that I've even had interactions with that charge asinine amounts just to give their viewers a reading, and it's I can understand, like, charging for what you're worth, but, like, it's Twitch. You're getting a lot of people that are young, that don't have money, and they're just able to subscribe via Twitch Prime, which is given through if your parents or you have an Amazon Prime account.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand that it's, like, a hard time, so what I will do is I charge what are called channel points. And channel points are just something you acquire by watching the streamer for a longer period of time. So with doing that, I allow all of my viewers to just, the longer they watch and the longer they participate, the more opportunities they have for getting tarot card readings. It's kind of a way of keeping an interaction and keeping an interest while also keeping it free for viewers.
Okay.
Okay.
I think a little more specifically, what drew you to mysticism? I'm using mysticism in the general sense because I feel like there's... The mic is picking up your typing.
It's all right.
No, I'm not saying it's a problem, but I use mysticism in general because of the different tools that you use. What drew your interest to mysticism in the first place, if you feel comfortable talking about it?
Well, the first time that I had ever received a tarot reading in general was, I think, 13 or 14. My brother and his now ex-girlfriend and their family had brought us to a mystic fair. We'd all gotten tarot readings and all just had a really good time with it. And then when I started up at my college, Casanova College, they do a yearly psychic fair, and which they do tarot readings, palm readings, things of that nature. And that's just kind of what started the path. It wasn't until my junior year, about 2 years ago, that I really started to get into it and really started to delve deeper into learning how to do it myself.
Okay. What, like... Well, I'll ask again, why? Like, what?
I'll be 100% honest. I had gotten a reading from a teacher at the time, and then my brain, just a few months later, was like, full send, do it, come on.
What was so interesting about it to you?
What led you to the reading with the teacher? Like, was there like...
It was a close friend who was also a teacher. Her name was Heather. Her, myself, and...
Heather gave you one?
Yep. She
Aww.
did.
Okay, so I don't know what's going on. So this is in college?
Yep,
Yes.
at college. Okay. My professor, which was actually our forensic photography professor, who I got very close with, she's still a friend to this day, her and I do talk. She gave me the tarot card reading that kind of led me down the path of, hey, maybe buy this, do it yourself.
Okay.
And
Excuse me.
it was her, myself, and our friend Kat. The three of us were sitting there just kind of doing readings, things of that nature, and I had started to kind of get a feel for how they worked, and I wanted to start doing it for myself, and it just kind of, one thing led to another, and now I own 3 decks and a pendulum.
Okay, before we get any further into this, I want to ask the three of us, including myself. I'm going to start with you, Wyatt.
Okay.
So,
mysticism, or would you guys consider religion to also be in this area of topic, or no?
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, it definitely is. It's not for every person that does tarot, but it's not...
I think to exclude it from the category of religion is rude.
Okay.
It leaves a lot of people out.
Right.
Okay, so mysticism and religion in general, where do you stand? Just in general.
It's a part.
Okay, so you take part in it. Mom?
I'm an atheist, and I don't believe generally in any of it.
Okay.
Super skeptic.
I don't think I'm a skeptic. I just don't understand the concept.
Okay. And then I will play middleman because I don't necessarily believe in... I have my own different belief systems from what, like, you have, honey, but I also feel like I'm not, like... If something happens to be out there, cool. I'll identify as agnostic. That's what I'll do. I guess that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay?
I love how you're trying to play devil's advocate for yourself.
I know. I'm sorry. So, excuse me. Okay, so now that we have that
established.
Yeah, I guess. Usually, I'm gonna ask you this because I know, but other people don't know. Usually, when you do your tarot card readings on stream, is it? Because I know there's different types of readings.
Yep.
Yes. So, what types of readings do you usually do when people ask you for one?
The typical reading that I do, it has several names, but the one that I typically refer to it is the pathway reading. It's a 3-card draw, and it's very easy, very simple, and it can be done very easily over a stream. I've decided to stop kind of doing the more complex readings on stream because those types of things take a lot of time and a lot of energy to do, and to try to decipher everything with it, it just takes way too much fucking time.
Okay.
So typically we go for the pathway reading, but we do have the bow and arrow reading, the world tree, and past life readings, as well as a few readings that are just meant for, well, communion of the dead. So.
Do people request different types
Yeah, some
of things?
people do.
Do they know these phrases, or do they say to you, hey, I'm looking for, and you're like, oh, okay, what you're
asking for is this reading.
Okay.
I don't have them listed because I don't want to advertise which readings I do and do not want to do. If someone asks me for something and they're a longtime viewer, I'm gonna be like, yeah, sure, I'll cut you a break. We'll do this like 8-card draw for you.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a new viewer that's just here for the very first time, I'm not gonna go out of my way to give them something that takes like an hour to complete.
Oh, okay. So some of them can take a long time.
Yeah, that's the thing.
To get through the whole process. Okay.
The longest one that we go through is the World Tree draw, and that is a 10-card draw. And it's meant for like very, very complex questions, and they're typically aimed at something like a past family member, something like that. But
okay. So these are the kind of things I see like in movies and on TV shows.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Those ones take a very long time. It's very draining personally for me. But the ones that take the longest that I have been requested the most for is the past life reading, which is an 8-card draw.
Okay.
So people try to like figure out what has happened in their past life, who they might have been, the things that they might have seen, what they might have experienced, and they try to figure that out through tarot.
Okay, I see. So this sounds very complex.
It takes time.
How long have you been doing tarot for other people?
For other people, is about the same time I started doing it for myself.
Okay.
When I got my tarot deck, I immediately wanted to start practicing. I spent about a week practicing just on me. Within the next week, I started posting on my Snapchat to my friends that were at college, like, hey, I'm doing tarot readings. If anyone wants to stop by, just ask.
So this was within, what, the last 2 years, the last 3 years? Okay.
I started at junior year.
Okay.
So as soon as junior year was up, I'd already been doing it pretty much a year.
Okay. So you did it in person on campus,
Yep.
I assume,
Yep,
as well as performing it online. So when I see people doing this on TV,
Yeah.
they'll say to the person that they're doing the reading for, sometimes to touch a card.
Yeah.
How do you perform that task virtually?
The way I do it is I will take my deck and I will start shuffling. And when I have a viewer tell me to stop is when I will stop and I will draw the top card.
Mm-hmm.
That is how we kind of do that on the online space, because you can't do that in person. Or you can't have them touch the card in person. I can't lay the cards out for them. So the easiest way to do it is I'm going to keep shuffling until you tell me to stop shuffling. And then when you tell me to stop, I will draw the card.
Okay.
And it's been an incredibly accurate method for what we've done.
So you have a connection then with these people?
Oh, absolutely.
You're feeling
Yeah.
a connection? Okay.
Absolutely. No, I wouldn't say that like I have as deep a connection as some tarot readers, because I have a friend that is like very deeply connected with people when she does tarot readings, and like knows exactly what's going on every time. And for me, it's just like it becomes a conversation. Like, hey, what are you thinking about when I'm doing this reading? What is this related to? How do I figure out what's going on first before I go further?
Okay. That's interesting.
There's a lot to it before I start really like, what's the word?
Interpreting?
That's the one.
Okay. Okay.
So like I can draw 3 random cards and get any freaking meaning out of it. It's about what's going on in the person's life that I have to try to interpret and figure out how these cards relate to the situation that they have and what the cards are trying to say.
So you're having a conversation with them somewhat.
While having a conversation with the cards.
Okay. That's an interesting way to put it. Okay.
So I'm gonna pull out the P word. Would you identify as a psychic?
Fuck no. Absolutely not.
Okay. Because I know
No, I
some
don't think
people,
that's the same thing.
No, I know it's...
There are some people that will identify as psychics that do tarot and will have a much deeper connection. And
Okay.
one of my friends identifies as such. I do not. I do not think myself a psychic. I barely think myself a fortune teller.
Okay, because
Okay.
I know that when I think of psychics, I think of tarot as being a tool used by psychics, not that
That's a
it's like all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. Not
That's
all.
a very common misconception due to the media, though.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that read tarot and read oracle cards that do not have any sort of psychic attachment, anything like that. And there are a lot of psychics that have no desire to do anything with oracle or tarot.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just have that gift, or if that be, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it some different things, and we can just call it what it's been known as. It's psychicism, and it is what it is.
Okay.
Okay, so
let's take a step back for a minute,
Go for it.
because I don't know anything.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
No.
It's
I've never
absolutely
even.
fine.
I don't think I've ever even seen a deck of tarot cards.
Well, now you
Okay. Well, I see. It just looks like a deck of cards, but they have like different. There are different decks.
Oh yeah, no, I've got two others in my office.
Okay,
right
and because
Kes actually
I
has
brought
a
up my
couple.
handy dandy resource, it's Wikipedia,
now. Yeah.
where they talk about the different decks, and there's even different names for different decks.
Yep. This is called Wildwood Tarot, which is my go-to deck. There are many different interpretations. I do not trust Wikipedia worth a damn when it comes to tarot, because they have a lot of different meanings
Well, this is just like a general overview.
of tarot.
Yeah.
Okay. If you go on Wikipedia ever and you are looking up the meanings of cards, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have a really hard time.
Mm.
It's a bad day.
I can imagine, because as I look at this, I mean, this is really like history.
Yeah.
Like if I were a history student and I were looking into this kind of thing, this is, it's talking about that some of them date back to the mid 15th century. It talks about different words, like where the word tarot comes from, so the etymology of the word, that there are different suits. And some of those suits, the main suits, seem to depend upon where in Europe you were living at the time. So there's a Northern Europe one that's more French. There's a Southern Europe one that's more Latin. There's a German one that's more Central European. Like really broad topics.
Yeah, they have actually gotten together, and there is now a universal suits for tarot, which is, if memory serves, rings, swords, crowns, and
crowns?
yeah, rings, swords, crowns, and there's one other, and I can't remember.
Suits?
Yeah, I'm talking about the major suits.
Wands.
Wands.
Swords. Pentacles. Cups.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the most traditionally used.
I think, right? Let me look it up.
What?
Yeah, no, that is the traditional suits. There is a one that is, I think the last one for that is shields. There is a deck that does rings, swords, crowns, and shields.
Yeah,
There are plenty of different ones. For this one that I have, it is stones, vessels, which are considered the cups, bows, and arrows. So
yeah, the minor arcana is wands, cups, swords, and pentacles.
Yeah. And then the major arcana is their own thing. The most typically known one is the Death card, the Tower card, and the Hermit.
Or what is it? I'm thinking of it. I can't remember.
You can do it. Come on.
Oh, I remember the chariot every time I think of the major arcana.
That's an interesting one to remember.
But I feel like every time you do a reading for me, I get it a lot.
I don't have the chariot card.
Oh, then maybe it's someone else. I don't know. But
I'm going to other people for your tarot readings. I'm offended.
I'm sorry. I have other friends.
But doesn't that? But isn't that what people do though?
Oh, absolutely.
Doesn't that enrich the experience?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some people will give you a completely different reading as to what's going on in life than you will get from other tarot readers.
Okay.
Well, I think that's because different people, different
perspective.
Yeah, people interpret different things in different ways because they're different people.
Yeah.
Different.
But come to me, I'm the best. Not really.
No. Do you... I'll ask a question because I know that you know other people who do tarot readings and things like that. Do you feel like you're in competition with these people, or do you feel like it's more of a community-based thing?
Neither, honestly. It's not a community because we do not talk.
Is it every man for themselves, or?
Very much so. You can make friends within the community, but the actual community of fortune telling, like on Twitch and tarot readers on Twitch, is very sparse. It's a very, very non-diverse community.
Well, also...
Okay, so yeah, this was one of the things. Go ahead, Kes.
Yeah, because Mom and I talked about this before. Not only is it sparse, but you identify as male.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of male tarot card readers, I think.
You'd be surprised. There's actually quite a few.
Okay, but...
let's take the entire spectrum of tarot card readers. When you look at percentages, the vast majority are women. This is considered to be a women's field. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. On Twitch, it is currently very female dominated. Very, very, very much easier to do as a female than it is to do as a male. In general. Okay. So I knew that I was going to have competition with women no matter what. It wasn't really a question as to how or if. It was a matter of when.
Okay. So... Excuse me.
Hiccups?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, excuse me. Damn it. I had a question and I forgot.
She's like, shoot, what was that question?
The hiccups blocked her question.
Okay, actually, I remember. We've been talking about tarot cards for a little bit.
Okay.
Do you want to show them to Mom? She says she's never seen them, really, so...
Okay, so we're getting a visual. Oh, you're just going to hand them to me. I can actually touch them. Yeah. This feels taboo.
You're more than welcome to touch them. Just please don't break them. Don't try ripping them.
No, that feels wrong somehow. Okay, so these are interesting.
The reason why it may feel wrong to you is because I have worked with them for so long. Some people feel
it feels wrong to me because I don't believe in any of it. So
yeah,
it's just bizarre, you know. So this says like Knight of Bows. It says balance, and then it has a number. Like, what's the number mean?
Okay, so what you have right there is you have a card that is technically considered minor arcana and one that is considered major arcana. The number 14, or balance, is a major arcana.
Why? Okay, wow, there's just too much. Too much information.
Major arcana cards are typically linked to very, very strong feelings for something or a very, very strong response from the cards. Okay. Minor arcana, still, if it is a high suit like a knight, a page, a king, or a queen, are considered like the major arcana, but not really major arcana, because they're like a median ground between the actual minor and the actual major.
Okay, so this is a red fox.
Yes.
Yesterday. No, Saturday.
Yeah.
Kes and I drove past a red fox on the road that had been killed. We had to drive around it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a coincidence to you?
It could be. I'd have to do an actual reading.
Oh, okay. The art on these is pretty cool. So this is a knight.
I will say this particular deck is very, very, very much more seen for these suits and namings specifically in the Irish and Scottish regions and Wales.
Oh, okay. So that's probably why
That's why I had to draw to these cards.
Yeah,
at the beginning.
That's a good word. Why you were drawn to them, because you identify as Irish.
Yes, I am very, very much Irish.
But not from Ireland. You were born in the United States. Your parents were born in the United States. Your grandparents were born in the United States.
It was my great-grandmother that came across.
Gotcha.
From Ireland.
And she met my great-grandfather.
There's a lot of cards here. How many cards are in this deck?
72.
That's a lot.
Yep.
That's 20 more than a regular deck of cards.
Yeah.
But a normal deck of playing cards is, correct me if I'm wrong, derived from tarot.
Correct.
Yes.
The difference is...
The ace through 9, and then the jack,
suits.
queen, king...
It's...
There's something else. Oh, joker? No.
Jack, queen, king. You're correct.
Jack, queen... Oh, there's a 10.
Ace,
Yeah, 10.
jack, queen, king, 10.
Because ace through 9, and then
These are
10
also
through
huge. They're
10.
gigantic
Oh,
cards.
yeah. No, they're very large.
And I have very small hands.
Yeah, they fit mine very well.
Yeah.
Most of my
Are they
decks-
always this big though? They look
Typically.
huge on TV. Some of them
Typically.
I've seen on TV are even bigger. Like they
Oh, yeah. No, there's...
like I can lay my hand over this card and almost
completely
cover
fit.
the card.
Okay.
Oh, Kes has questions.
No, I have statements. There are much bigger cards that I know of outside of tarot that are also in the tarot community that are also called oracle cards.
Yep.
Those are
Okay.
giant.
It really depends on the deck and the creator of those cards.
I've only ever seen like really big ones. That's why I say that.
Yeah, no, it happens, but like here, let me grab one.
Oh. Okay. He's going to get his other deck, I think.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, these are so pretty. I love these.
So I have two different decks here. One is called the Dark Mirror set. And as you can see, they are roughly the same size, actually a little smaller than a tarot deck. These are oracle cards. right here.
Okay.
So they're rather small.
Okay.
But the other deck that I have, or the Moonology deck, which I got recently as well. Yeah, come on, close the box.
What is the one you just had in your hand? It's
Dark Mirror.
Dark Mirror. That's like a brand?
No, it's just the name of the deck.
It's like a theme. They all have different themes.
Oh, okay.
But these are my other deck, which are also oracle cards. They kind of dwarf the
Moonology.
size.
Oh, so those are even bigger. And I
Yes.
assume they have phases of the moon on them, it looks like.
Yep.
Yep.
Phases of
Okay.
the moon, different astrology signs.
Do you use that?
nature.
It looks like your main deck is the one you use most often.
Yes.
Do you use these other decks?
I use these decks just very sparsely. I try not to use them as much. This is like my go-to thing.
Why?
Because I have a deeper connection to these.
Okay.
I also feel like, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go for it.
I feel like you also have just a general better understanding of the deck you use the most.
Wildwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm also trying, at some point, I'm going to try to get a hold of two more decks.
Mm-hmm.
One is called Smoke, Ember, and Ash, and the other one is called Oak, Ash, and Thorn.
Yeah.
Okay. I have okay, so we've talked about I know. I said I don't know anything about it. But I have like a lot of questions about the service, I guess, that you perform.
Yeah.
So obviously you've been doing this a little while on your stream,
Yep.
and so some of your regulars know that you do it.
I actually advertise it in all my titles now.
You advertise it, like you're hashtagging it on your Insta when you
Yep.
post, or okay,
Every time.
okay, and we'll put links to that in the information
the
for when we
description.
put the podcast up, which
Might be a month
sounds
from
like
now.
the future as I'm talking, but when you see it, all of our listeners, then it'll be current.
Look down below.
And
It'll
we'll
be there.
have some pictures of some of your decks if that's
Yeah,
okay, just so that people
absolutely.
can see the kind of things that you're using, and you can actually see the wear on the main deck. You can see that the edges are a little worn, and that this is your main source of information.
One of the reasons that it is also a little bit worn is because it lived through a pipe burst.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So
Those
that
cards
was-
have been through.
Mm-hmm.
They've been through the ringer.
Weather.
with me. Yeah.
Right. So, okay. So if you're advertising it, so people will approach you, and they'll say, "Hey, can I get a reading?" For
yeah.
example, I'm just gonna let our listeners know that because we all used to live together.
Yep.
Who knows? We might all live together again at some point in a different location or whatever. But because it would be my goal for us to have like a big giant house together. That would be so cool, right?
My goal right now is just to get a job that is consistent.
And then if you were charging for tarot, you'd actually be making pretty good money.
We're working on that.
Yeah.
We're working on making an OnlyFans, as weird as that sounds, just for tarot readings, no lewd shit.
Okay.
But that's a good way to get into it. It's a good way to do the service.
It's a start.
Yeah.
Do I think a lot of
So the reason that I'm bringing this up is because you have had people message you on your phone in the middle of the night. Now, granted, generally, the middle of the night to most people, you're awake. But you do go to bed in the dark.
Yeah.
And you fall asleep. And at some point, let's say 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, someone sends you a message and says, hey, I need a reading.
Now.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've gotten up in the crack ass of dawn to give people readings before.
So it's something that they feel an urgency for.
Yeah, some people feel a genuine urgency for it. Others just, as they come into the stream, they're like, hey, it's been a while since I've been here. Do you think I could get one? I'm like, yeah, of course. Absolutely. But other people that have, like, been around, they feel close enough to talk to me. They're in my Discord, which is a private messaging service thing.
Okay.
For those of you that aren't aware of what a Discord is, it is like group chats, things like that.
Yeah, I'm totally not aware. You know that.
It's got a whole thing. I'll explain that later. But I will get messages through Discord and they'll be like, hey, some shit just hit the fan for me. Do you think you could give me a reading? I had a friend that was going through like 8 early life crisis. And asked me at like 2 o'clock in the morning, hey, would you mind staying up after stream and giving me a private reading? I was like, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because, like, if there's someone that's having a crisis of some sort and they feel like tarot will help them figure it out, I'm not going to just turn them away. And I don't know why I haven't charged them before, but going forward.
Well, I think that, we've talked about this. We briefly touched on this. We posted, actually, a podcast recently, our most recent post, at the time of this conversation that we're having right now, where we talk about owning our own business and being self-employed. And that you go through a stage where you're kind of testing out your client, you're testing out your product, and you're offering products or services at a reduced rate in order to get the business, get your name out there, and also build up practice with certain things or test new products. I do that with new products. Like, I know that I should be charging more, but I need to get a feel for not just if the clientele is interested in the product, but is this the right way to make it?
Yeah.
Should this have pockets? Of course, when it comes to women, the answer is always yes.
Yeah.
Should always have pockets. Or is this the right fabric? Or, and
is this the right stitching?
Right. And then I know with Kes, some of the things that she's been working on is like the kind of services that people are looking for.
Yeah. As of super recently, I fell into teaching.
Yeah.
So that's a new service.
So teaching photography as opposed to just offering photography services. Although you also just recently got a client through an idea that you pitched months ago, and now it's starting to come to fruition.
Right.
Where one of the services that you're offering is to a bride when she goes in to pick up her dress. And
it's like I don't even know what I would describe it as. I haven't thought about it.
But it's, usually when a bride goes in to pick up her gown, she should be trying it on. She should be doing a final fitting. And they usually come in to pick up the gown and they've got makeup on. And their mom is definitely there. And they don't have the whole bridal party. Yeah, just maybe their maid of honor. It's a more intimate moment.
And everybody has
their cell phones out. It's usually very emotional. Yeah, the cell phones are out. This is her dress that she's trying on. And
usually like only a couple of days before the wedding in general.
Well, no, this is just to pick up the gown. It's not after the alterations have been done.
Oh, I thought you meant after.
Right. So
never mind.
But it's it's typically, it can be a pretty emotional time because when the bride goes in and picks out the dress, that's not her dress usually. Right. There are moments where they're buying the dress right off the showroom floor.
Yeah.
But usually the dress is ordered in their size, and so they're putting it on for the first time, and it's her gown.
Yep.
And so you have offered a service. Well, you will be there to take those pictures. The mom's face, or the bride's initial reaction when she comes out of the fitting room and she really gets to see herself in her dress.
Or if the bride has like her entourage of friends, like the reactions of the friends.
Yeah, this is typically
like
this as opposed to the pick out. This is typically the time when the bride might bring a grandparent,
right?
You know, or some other elder family member. I've seen this many times in the bridal industry. So anyway, that was one of the things that you've picked up on. So, you know, you test out tarot for a while.
Yeah.
Because you're interested in it. You know you have a passion for it.
Yeah.
And now you're getting to the point where this is an aspect of your business that you're considering building upon because you have a connection to it. You know that other people have a connection to it.
Yeah.
And you're going to be reaching out to try to build that aspect.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be reticent about, I would never, if I were you, I would just advise you not to put down the experience that you've had or that you didn't charge or that you still might not charge for certain aspects on Twitch, but that you're going to be offering an enhanced experience.
Yeah.
And OnlyFans is one of the locations that allows you to offer that most effectively, probably, in this, you know, in the platform that we have, platforms, I should say, that we have available right now.
As much as I'd like to disagree with that, like, I really can't. I have to know that, like, when it comes to people messaging me in the future, I'm going to have to say, hey, I've got a service for this, there's a charge. I can't just give this out like that.
I've had to do that pretty recently, like within the last year, because a lot of people would come up to me and be like, hey, I want photos for Instagram, or I want photos for this, like,
I want graduation pictures.
And I'm like, great, that sounds awesome. And they're like, cool, I want this, this, and this. And I'm like, okay, I charge this now because I'm a professional. And they're like, oh, okay. And then I never hear from them again. That's happened before.
Yeah,
but that happened with one of your friends while we were still living on campus.
But now that people understand that I am a businesswoman, they understand, because, like, it's really, I feel like just in today's world, it's much more easy to understand that if you're friends with an artist, you are, like, you can't use them for their art. You have to support them just as much as they support you when you do all your stuff.
Right.
So it's become easier to come across those people who will actually be like, yeah, I'll definitely pay for your service and not use you. But I think you're at that point where you can
you're
say...
You're starting to make that change, that shift.
It's like, hey, I'm charging for a more enhanced experience. I'm charging for larger tarot spreads and doing things like that. So I think you're in a good spot to do that.
I know that I'm comfortable, like, giving out the pathway readings because they take, like, 15 fucking minutes. They're not a incredibly difficult experience. It's pretty easy to talk about it. It's very easy to just kind of get them done, and I'm okay with giving them away on Twitch, but I'm to a point where, like, giving away the, like, Past Life Tarot reading, or the...
Past Life,
excuse me.
Sorry.
Past Life Tarot spread, or the Bow and Arrow spread, or the World Tree spread. It's to a different level.
And it also takes... literally, you have to charge more for time.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not just time. You said that some of these things drain you.
Oh, yeah. They're physically draining just to try to figure everything out and just, like, get an idea. And just, like, when it comes to that, you're putting a lot of, like, emotional and spiritual energy into something like that, especially if there's something going on in their life. Like, I've had people come to me, like, right after a very traumatic experience with a parent, and they're like, hey, I don't know what the fuck to do. And, like, not only am I there to be a support for the, like, tarot, but I'm also there to be an emotional support as a friend. Because, like, fuck, you just, like, you had to go through something with a parent, and you can't just, like, throw that to the wind, so to speak.
Or you just went through something with a job, or you just went through something with anything.
Do you ever get people who come to you and they've had a recent really positive experience and they want to know if this is
absolutely
for real, or if this is going to last, or is this going to have a downside? Or
every couple weeks I will get someone that comes in and be like, hey, I got into this new relationship. I want to know what's
that's
going
what
on.
it is.
Oh, okay.
And
Usually
I always get those people that are like, I want to know what's going on with my love life. I want to know what's going on with this.
That's really, so that's like a key one.
Love life is a huge.
That's
huge
usually
thing
like
for me.
interesting.
From what I've seen, that's the most common popular
Yep.
thing, or the most common positive thing that people come to you about is like, I just started seeing this person. Can you tell me anything about it?
Okay.
Or I'm interested in this person. Can you tell me anything about them? What would help me get them interested in me, so to speak? It's a lot of love life suggestions and things like that. And my most common suggestion, if anybody's wondering out there, stop looking for love. It will find you. That is my common tell. Because every single time...
So just be yourself.
Not even just that. Like, if you go out there with the intention of finding love, the world is not going to be generous to you. The second you give up, like, fuck this, I'm done. I'm done looking for this. I'm going to work on me. I'm going to do this for me. Then someone's going to come in your life like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, because
that's what happened with her.
Hi.
Because, like, at that point, when Kes came into my life, I was in the middle of an awful relationship, and just, like, I was about to break up with them and just be done with everything. I wanted to live my own life and be happy. And then Kes just kind of came along like, hello.
I think I made you happy, though, right?
Don't get ahead of yourself. I still remember
That's so nice.
one of the
Aww, that's so sweet.
one of the funniest experiences was Kes knocking on my door while we were in the middle of summer college.
Oh no, here we go.
I was shirtless and very, very much intoxicated. And I opened my door and she's just sat there, starstruck, not knowing what to say, and all I hear out of her mouth is, Uno cards? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I got you. And I go over there, grab my Uno cards, and she's just there ogling me. And little did I know at the time my roommate was gawking at her. And I bring over...
This was a great conversation.
His best man had a huge crush on me, and I had no idea.
Oh, yeah, at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
sorry,
I give her the Uno cards, and she's
Sean.
just still sat
Eric.
there speechless.
Eric.
I shut the door, or I get ready to shut the door. I was like, anything else? And she was like, no. I shut the door, and then I just hear
I let out the faintest of squeaks. Because I grabbed the Uno cards for the RAs that I was hanging out with.
Mm-hmm.
And one of our friends, Angela, was like, I know 100% that Wyatt has Uno cards. You should go ask him. And I was like, you want me to go ask him? What?
Oh, so you had seen him.
We had...
These are the tangents that we get off on,
Yeah.
Wyatt. Thanks for joining us today.
I wasn't aware this was going to happen.
We had Intro to Psychology together.
Yep.
We had Effective Speaking, and we had State of the World.
Yep, those were the only 3 classes that we had. We had them all together.
Yeah, and so...
I had seen her through 3 anxiety attacks through that entire ordeal.
Well, I said, I think in the most... Not in the most recent episode, but in one of the most recent ones, I said that your first impression of me was me hyperventilating, like in the hallway or something, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
It was the first time I noticed
We
you,
did talk about that.
but it wasn't like my first experience of you.
Yeah, but like, I already knew. I was like, wow, he's really cute. I don't know what to do. So I just like...
She also had an anxiety attack after giving me her number.
Yes, I did, because I was terrified of doing it. Because at first I was like...
She went into the other room following, and I just looked through the window, and she just sat there with one of her friends, and I was like, what the fuck happened?
Because, like, I knew, first of all, in Effective Speaking, you weren't doing so hot. So
I was doing hot, actually. I did very well in that class.
Not in the beginning.
Oh,
so
at the beginning, no, not at all.
So I gave you my number because I was like, this should be pretty easy to help this guy out. And also, I just wanted to be friends with you. I had no intentions of ever dating you, but I 100% knew that I liked you. Shut up.
You were just trying to get me shirtless.
No,
okay,
I'm trying
so
to...
anyway.
I wanted you to give me Uno cards. So, I have another question.
Yeah, we have lots of questions.
Go for it.
We've been talking a lot about tarot cards.
Mm-hmm.
There's a pendulum sitting in front of
That's
you.
the same question I was just going to ask.
What do those do?
Pendulums are more so for very basic questions, but they give you a very direct answer, like yes, no, not really. Is the best way to interpret it.
Okay, so, because I have an interesting story to relate. Okay, now you guys are young.
Yep.
You were born just before the new millennium.
Yep.
I'm older.
We're the last of the real ones.
And for probably until the last maybe 25, because you guys are going to be 22 soon.
Yep.
To maybe 20, to maybe 30 years. I'm going to say 30 years max. Women who are pregnant have been able to find out with a fair amount of accuracy.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
What the gender of an unborn baby is through pictures. No, through pictures. Right, through an ultrasound, just within the last 25 to 30 years. But previous to that, the way to divine the upcoming gender of this baby was to take the woman's wedding ring off of her finger, hang it from a string over her abdomen, typically while she's prone. Mm-hmm. Is that on her back? Right.
Yeah, she's laying on her
and
back.
And then if the string swings in a circle, if the ring moves in a circle, that's one gender. If the ring just simply moves back and forth, that's a different gender. And now I need to look this shit up because I can't. I think that a circle is a girl and a line is a boy, which makes more sense to me.
Yeah, because when you think of like the symbols of the genders, I would assume that it would.
And I'm assuming that that's similar because it's either one thing or the other. You don't have to interpret it.
The way that pendulums are typically seen is if it's going front to back, it's yes. If it's going side to side, it's no. If it's making a circle, it's maybe.
I thought, okay, I have a few statements.
Go for it.
Oh my god. I have heard that depending on how the pendulum moves for different people, you interpret whether it's yes or no.
Okay, so here's one.
It is for some, but the typical is yes because you're bobbing your head up and down.
Okay.
And then no is left to right.
Sides, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That make more sense?
Okay. So this is on healthline.com, and this says that the test, where you hang the wedding ring from a string or from the participant's strand of hair.
Yeah. Oh my god. You know who did that?
It's actually the opposite. So if it's a line, it's a girl. If it's a circle, it's a boy.
Interesting.
So that's what they say, and we can put this link in the information for this podcast so that people can check it out. Yeah.
You know who's done that twice with both of her kids?
Who?
Shawn Johnson.
And has she been right?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, she does have a 50% chance of being right each time.
Yes.
And a 50% chance of being wrong.
Actually, I think she was. Yeah, I think she was right when she did the test both times because she did 2 YouTube videos. The first one was when she had her daughter, Drew. Mm-hmm. And then.
Wow, it's almost like it has some sort of merit to it or something.
It doesn't.
What?
Wyatt.
No, I don't.
Pendulums.
Oh, okay. But she.
But again, it's. I mean, the odds are in your favor. The statistically, it could go either way. It's a 50-50 thing. It's either a yes or no. It's either a boy or a girl. It's either this or that.
Sure, statistically, but I have to come at it from a perspective of someone that is actually believing in it and actually actively works with it.
So
right. Mm-hmm. And I'm coming at it from the perspective of someone who
thinks it's hog shit.
Well, I don't think it's hog shit. I don't believe that any of it is true, but I also don't buy into any religion at all. It's not that I disrespect it.
No.
I know the purpose of religion. I just don't. I don't know. I don't understand.
But yeah, like Shawn Johnson did 2 videos. One of them was for her daughter, Drew. And the second one was when she had her son, Jet, like last week.
Oh, so she had the baby.
She had a baby boy. And she did 2 videos where she did a multitude of gender reveal tests, like old wives' tales kind of thing.
That's exactly what was on this Healthline website. Go ahead.
Yeah, and she tested a bunch of them. Like, she did the dirty. We haven't run it yet, but
I don't know if I can reach a glass. It's so big.
You can do it.
No, I can't reach it.
okay. But she did videos where she did like the Mayan calendar test, or she did like pardon me, but peeing in a cup and then putting baking soda into it. And if it fizzed, it was one gender, and if it stayed still, it was another. Things like that.
That's also on this Healthline webpage, so yeah.
And then she did the same ring test for both of the babies, and I think it was correct for both of them.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I'm going to ask a question about my favorite part of pendulums and things of that nature, and that's the stones that are attached to them. Because I like rocks.
I too like rocks. I'm really pissed about my wedding ring.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
It's got a crack in it.
Yeah, it really
Are you
does.
serious?
Yeah, it's like, can I take it off?
In the
here?
stone or in the ring?
In the stone.
How? Okay.
Well, that happens.
So if you look right there, or if you run your finger across it.
Oh, I can feel a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about just coating it with like epoxy or something.
Just put some nail polish over it too.
Some shit like that.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't continue to crack and
Exactly.
break. I'm
But-
sorry, that's too bad.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But because is that your only pendulum? No.
Yes, it is
Yes,
currently.
okay.
I do plan on getting more in the future.
Okay, so what stone is on the end of that one?
Blue agate.
Is on the end of what?
His pendulum.
His pendulum. Okay, and does the stone matter?
No.
It's pretty
So
though.
it's just very pretty. It is
Yeah.
pretty.
I was actually.
They have different draws to certain people and things like that.
So it's basically a quartz, which is what most people want.
No, it's
for-
an agate.
Okay.
It's a.
It's
Okay.
blue agate.
No, I mean, but the basic type of the
build of the crystal
Yeah.
is a quartz.
So to speak.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
They're different.
So, I was actually gifted agates contain quartz, but the quartz inside agates is not ordinary. So, it's a form of quartz.
Yeah.
Yes, it's quartz. Microcrystalline quartz.
Yeah. So,
Or as Dad would say,
quartz.
quartz.
Quartz. I was actually gifted a pendulum from an old friend of mine, and on the end of it is amethyst.
Yeah, you have amethyst on yours.
She's pretty. She's great. I actually have another one, lo and behold. I have another pendulum that has tiger's eye on the end, and I bought it because it's beautiful.
You didn't buy it.
Wyatt bought it for me because I thought it was beautiful.
Wow. Okay.
That was harsh.
Yeah, that was harsh. Okay.
Sorry. That was a gift.
I know. Thank you. I said thank you.
I'm sticking my tongue out at her for the viewers at home.
for the listeners.
Okay. What shit? I have another question I forgot. Do you have another one?
Oh, so many.
Okay, cool.
What does the end of a reading look like? Like when so we talked about how people approach you and, some of the process, but like, how does it come to closure?
Usually if I'm in a hurry, which on my last stream, I was very much in a hurry because I just wanted to finish it up because I was exhausted and I had work in the morning at 10. I had finished up the reading and I was like, is there any other questions, anything else I can try to ask, or is there anything else that you were wondering about it, anything I can try to like understand, or are there any other pieces that were left out?
Mm-hmm.
And once I figured out like everything that was going on and everything that they had into the question, then it's usually like, okay, how do I figure out where this goes? How do I understand what they're looking for? and go from there.
Okay.
It's not super complex as a lot of people would assume. It's really not. It's just easy. It's fairly easy, honestly.
So, would you say that is it because it comes to an easy conclusion that that's an indicator that the client is satisfied?
Oh yeah.
That you feel like you've done everything that you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
So have you ever had a reading though end in frustration? Or
a few people, yeah. When it usually ends in frustration is usually when they're not getting the answer that they want. I've had a few of those. Most of them are typically related to love. Funny enough.
Oh, okay. So that seems to be a really big topic.
Yeah, love readings are
not just popular, but it's causing some
discomfort and distress.
Well, I also think it's because of the age group that asks for those readings.
Yeah, it is.
You have an age group?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We have the youngest viewer that I have on my Twitch is around 13 or 14 now.
Okay.
So the problem with that is those. Sorry,
the oldest is like early 30s, right?
Oh no, I've got people well into their 40s and 50s on my streams.
I was just saying.
But either way, we've had quite a few viewers get very, very frustrated. Like, why am I not finding love now? And I'm like, listen, I don't know what to tell you. I gave you my advice, and I gave you what the cards wanted to know.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, we can circle back to you once I get through.
Well,
all
maybe
these other
the answer
readings.
is now isn't your time.
That's usually the problem.
And they don't want to accept that.
People are impatient.
Mm.
People are incredibly impatient.
And by people, you mean you.
No, not even.
Because I know you.
Don't get me wrong, I'm an impatient person, and I want things to be done in a certain way, and I want things to happen at a certain time.
Says his wife.
I'm
But
sorry.
When it comes to things like that, I understand that there are time frames, there are time periods, and there are just certain things that are out of my hands.
So,
Okay.
when it comes to... Okay. I know, like, they're based on interpretations and, like, things like that. Have you ever, when it comes to, like, love readings, has anyone ever accidentally had, like, a breakup interpreted in their cards?
Yep.
I'm curious.
Yep.
Yeah?
You want to know who? You can block this out later.
Oh, really? Oh, no, did they break up?
They didn't.
Okay.
It was kind of
Sorry, I had a panic moment.
The cards essentially were like, hey, if you don't handle this, it's gonna end like this.
Okay. Alright.
And she took the advice to heart, took some time, got their shit squared, and now they're good.
That's really interesting. That's funny.
And that's a lot of the thing.
I mean, not really funny, haha, but interesting.
It's with tarot card readings, if you ask for something like that, everything's preventable.
Sure.
If you take the advice to heart and you actually like follow the instructions that are left, you can very easily avoid some of the things that are left for you.
Okay.
Okay, so this brings up another question for me.
Go for it.
Can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Do you have a death card?
Yes.
They all
What
do.
does it look like? And does it just mean death?
No.
Okay.
By no means does it just mean that.
Okay.
Try to pull it out here.
Because, like I said before, my experience with tarot is none. And, and I've seen it on TV. And so it's always some ominous sort of thing, and they're like, oh, the death card.
Technically, there are in my deck 3.
Okay.
One of them is number 13, or the Journey.
Okay, and people say 13 is an unlucky number. Oh, and this one has a crow and a skull and a full moon, and it looks ominous. I think there's blood. I'm not really sure what that
That's
is.
blood.
Okay.
From what?
Actually, it looks like the crow is pulling a piece of gum stuck on the skull of the...
It's
Probably
essentially...
a tendon.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
Then there is number 15, the Guardian.
Are they all odd numbers like that?
Yes, actually.
And this looks like a giant ground sloth skeleton. Doesn't it look exactly like a giant ground sloth skeleton? That's interesting.
And
okay.
the last one, which is typically seen, and I typically interpret as some form of loss or some form of death,
Is it mourning?
is number 7, the 7 of Vessels, or mourning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mouring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mourning a loss.
Okay.
But
But there's vessels on it. Is that symbolic?
Yes, because typically with vessels there's a certain level of emotion or feeling that
Because they can hold something, a vessel can.
Exactly. It's a feeling. The vessel is holding a certain level of feeling.
This is more like ethnology.
So to speak.
For me. Well, I'm an anthropologist, so we're going to say yes.
I'm Googling things.
I know, so am I. Yay for Google.
Yay.
Just goggle it.
Just goggle it. Oh, excuse me.
What do we need Bing for when we got goggle?
Does anyone use Bing anymore?
Oh, a lot of people. They're not even remotely as close to as many as there is for...
Oh, I guess ethnography would be more appropriate. Scientific description of the customs of individual peoples and cultures.
Okay, so apparently the suit of cups in tarot cards deal with the emotional level of consciousness and are associated with love, feeling, relationships, and connections.
Okay.
So with the number 7 card, it is the emotional loss of something, typically.
Okay, so it doesn't just mean death.
It deals with emotional loss.
Why do they call them the death cards then?
Because
Endings?
the ending or conclusion of a certain aspect of your life, or a certain person in your life, or a certain relationship in your life.
Okay, so people have come to associate those cards with like the end of a life, like as in period.
Yes.
Yes.
And so it's acquired this ominous label as a death card. But that's not really...
It's a common misconception.
Okay,
The same way as the devil card is also a common misconception.
Maybe that just means that you're very high-spirited.
It literally can. It just means there is a certain level of chaos that is...
Or you're experiencing a moral dilemma.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be something. The typical card that is seen as...
I mean, if you know the story of Satan.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
The reason that
Which
a lot of people are... No, I know.
What? Nothing.
The one card that most people are typically afraid of getting in a traditional tarot card deck is the Tower. The Tower is foreseen as shit's about to go down.
I've heard that before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tower is very much seen as this, like, big structure that is going to stop everything in its fucking tracks, and it's going to derail everything that's going down. It is seen as...
Okay, so like Lord of the Rings.
Almost. It is seen...
Well, she's... Okay, Kes is laughing at me.
Sorry.
It's almost seen as
like when they show the either one of the towers.
It's seen as a position of power.
Well, it's also a dark place.
Yes.
There's a lot of negative energy.
Yep.
Evil creatures or emanations are coming from this place.
Uh-huh.
Tower is seen as like Judgment Day, almost.
Okay.
That is what the card represents, is judgment, almost.
It's big and scary.
So, can we get back to the business sort of aspect of this at the moment? So, because I'm curious about like the balance of offering a religion type service as a business. I know we talked about this briefly.
I will say that I don't necessarily see tarot as like a religion-based thing for business, because it is seen as a...
Well, not for business. It's your business.
No, I understand that, but I will say that tarot is not necessarily religion. It can be directly related to a religion, it can be connected to religion, but it is not religion.
It can be a tool of religion.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, though.
In this aspect, it's not.
I mean, basically, it's like going to confession.
Not quite.
Well, you're sitting with someone, you're talking, they're talking back to you, you're talking, they're talking back to you.
Well, they're interpreting what you're going through.
Yeah, you're going there because something's going on in your life.
Also, this comes from somebody who's never been to confession. So
no, but I've seen it on TV, just like tarot.
I've been to a confession.
I've seen it on TV. Yeah, well,
confessionals are the ones that are on TV are hawk shit. I will fully put that out.
Okay, but what about the give and the take? Like someone says something.
No, by no means.
So you just sit in this box alone?
No, you sit in this box with another person. You tell the preacher, the pastor, whoever it may be, what your
butcher baker, candlestick maker,
what your sins are, and they say, "I acknowledge them. God has forgiven your sins." Blah blah blah. Go from there, and then do such and such amount of prayers. Blah blah blah. Goodbye. That's it. That's the entirety of a confessional
But it's a
experience.
service.
Yes.
It is a service that
There's no advice given, though. That's what I'm saying. Is there's no general direction.
But they
that you need to
are.
go.
I'm not saying advice, but they are
It's a service.
helping
but
this individual
it's different.
to move forward.
Not really.
Okay, but maybe you're saying that because you're not as observant of a Catholic.
I used to be one.
But for people who are, when that happens, they probably feel better
Oh yeah, no, it's an emotional.
when they leave the box.
It's an emotional lift, so to speak. It's temporary. It lasts 5 minutes.
It's a penalty box.
It literally is. You sit there for 5 minutes and tell the preacher about what has gone wrong.
You sit there and you think about what you did. It's like putting a kid in a corner.
Exactly.
Well, although not quite.
And then they say, "Naughty boy, that's what you did wrong."
But they
This
don't
is what
really
you-
say that, right?
No,
They say...
they're like, "God has forgiven your sins." Blah blah blah. Here, do this many prayers, this many Hail Marys, or this many Our Fathers, and go on your way. And that's really it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no advice. There's
No, I'm not saying that they're
it-
giving advice, but the
It's
person...
no emotional connection there. It's
It might not be
very
for
not.
you, but it could be for someone else.
For someone else, absolutely, they could be.
Especially if they go in under distress,
I have talked to
and then they leave and they're like, oh, I feel so much better.
I have talked
That's-
to many Catholics. Almost none of them want to go to confessional. It is a dreadful experience. Because the amount of judgment that comes off of a preacher sucks.
Can suck. Not every time. Just stop
Oh,
generalizing.
it sucks. It sucks.
But that's just your opinion because it's your experience. Other people...
No, it's not just my experience. I've talked to many people about it. Because I've had many misgivings in the Catholic Church. I was a member of the Catholic Church.
But we're not here to judge religion.
15 fucking years.
We're not here to judge religion.
I'm not saying I am here to judge religion. I'm
But
talking
you
about
are.
my experience with religion.
Right.
That's
But
your
that's what my point is.
experience.
It's your experience, but other people might have different
That's
experiences.
what I'm saying. Though.
And you're offering a service to them.
It's a different kind of service, though. It's a
But
completely
I'm not
different
saying
thing.
it's the same thing. I'm saying it's a service that is offered to someone who comes to you with a question or an issue, and then most of the time they leave feeling better about the situation.
Sure, but with other things...
What the meat of it that's in the middle might be different.
The confessional is much different. Because you're going there trying to absolve yourself of the fuck-ups that you've had over the years. When you're coming to a tarot reading, you're coming in with a question and trying to find a solution. You're trying to find a solution, not absolve yourself of the problem.
I acknowledge that. That's what I'm saying. They're not the same, but there's still a service that's being provided based upon a belief system.
But this isn't a belief system.
It
This
is.
well, you're
Because
not-
I don't believe in
I'm
this.
not praying to the tarot deck.
Okay, time out.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Time out.
This is the point where Kes gets frustrated with us.
Yes.
We knew this was going to happen.
Okay.
It sounds to her like we're arguing, but we're not.
Okay.
Wyatt and I do this all the time in debate. Okay, now it's Kes's turn.
Okay. Plot twist, both of you are correct, okay? But
Plot twist.
Now she can't figure out the words. Dun dun dun.
tarot cards are a tool, I've said this the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Based off of different belief systems. Because people believe that they bring people some sort of solace or a better understanding of an instance that is happening in their life. Tarot cards themselves may not be a belief system, but
it's
they
part
encourage
of a larger system.
They
That's
encourage
right.
a larger belief system. Yes, that's what she's trying to say.
Just like, well, no, it is.
God's sake.
Just like, what were we just talking about? Catholic confession is not a belief system.
No,
It's an element of a larger
It's a
Belief
tool.
system. Yeah, it's a tool of the system.
Mm-hmm. You don't need to agree with it, but it's a
I
tool of
don't.
the system. See? So yeah.
I've been to both. I've been experiencing both, and from my experience, I will tell you, it's night and day.
I didn't say they were the same.
No, I understand that you're not saying that they're the same.
I don't think you do understand. I'm just I know. Look at me. I know how passionate you are
I'm gonna
about, stop. I know how passionate you are about your opinions when it comes to Catholicism and your relation and your experiences with it. You can have those experiences for you. They're not going to be everybody else's. So, confessional sucked for you. I'm sorry to hear that. But other people do get some sort of relief out of it, and you can't speak for everybody else.
I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for the many people I've talked to on it. Because
Okay, so let's look at it this way. Let's talk about, so I wasn't raised Catholic. I was raised in Methodist.
Yep.
There's no confessional.
Oh, sorry.
I spent 5 days a week in church in some aspect or another. Very, very strict, very religious household. Anyway, so you also have the option, I mean, confession is different, and I'm sure you have this option in the Catholic Church of actually just meeting with your, in my case, a minister, in your case, a priest, and having a conversation with them if you're having a moral dilemma or something going on in your life. Isn't that conversation where the Bible comes into play similar to the kind of conversation you're having when you're doing a tarot reading? You're building a relationship with your client. You're using this device, like a book, in this case it's a deck of cards, to exchange information, gather information, and then the client leaves with more information, feeling better, typically. It's a similar kind of, it's a service.
It's a similar experience when you're having a conversation like that. The difference between those, you're absolutely right, is between...
I'm not saying you're a minister or a priest. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay. I understand that. I will say this, you're absolutely right, that, like, there are a lot of people that are able to, like, go see a priest, or in the case of the churches that I grew up with, you saw, like, leaders of the church, so to speak, which were parents that were just heavily involved. And they would be able to help you through, help and guide you through, like, such moral dilemmas, which were, like, the use of them. So I can understand that aspect being a very similar experience, because you walk away with a feeling of, like, this is where I go from here. Whereas I see a direct cutoff between the confessional part. Because, like, I can understand having a conversation with a priest or a youth leader or whatever you want to call it. That I can understand. The confessional is just different. It's a different aspect that has a completely different usage system.
Okay, so let's just agree to disagree. Okay, there we go. So, okay, so do you have repeat clients?
Oh, every day.
Oh, really? Every day?
Every day.
Okay.
I have a guy that has been messaging me for the past, like, week and a half because he wants to get a reading privately, but neither of our schedules have been able to mesh well.
Okay.
So him and I just have not gotten on it. So the next.
But now that you're diving into doing this and other things, because you've left a regular, like, Monday through Friday full-time job recently, you know, maybe your schedule will open up.
Yeah. Now that my schedule is a little bit open now, I'm able to do it, but I'm also still, like, I'm on that sleep schedule of that 9 to 5 still, so I'm trying to be available when this guy is available.
Says the man who we dragged out of bed at 10 o'clock this morning.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'm starting to get back into my old habits, and I'm fine with it.
Okay, so this was really interesting. Are there other tools, other than the pendulum and the cards, that are in your toolbox, basically?
General intuition.
Like, I mean physical tools.
Physical tools? No.
Okay.
Yeah, you do.
I do have runes, but I have not used them yet.
Okay.
And what are runes?
Runes are a old Nordic tradition. It's just literally rocks that have etchings into them that each have their own different meaning. I have not been able to figure them out worth a damn. I'm still trying, and I'm still actively trying to figure it out.
Are runes like rolling the bones?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Okay.
It is, quote-unquote, rolling the bones, but they have things etched into them.
Okay.
Instead of having actual bones, you have stones.
And they have symbols on them.
Yep, exactly.
Not as many stones as there are tarot cards.
No. They're
Right.
a lot less.
So it's a different sort of thing.
Yep, I have a full.
So that's something that you've been studying, but not too.
Yeah.
But okay, that's
I
interesting.
just haven't figured it out quite yet. It's a bit of a more.
It's just coming to you.
It takes time. It takes time.
Well, it all takes time. I mean, how long have you been doing tarot? You said you've been doing it yourself 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years, and I've been offering the service for a little over a year.
Right.
So.
And it's a popular service.
Yeah. Very.
Can we talk about just no specifics? But so your clientele, different ages, different genders, or do you get more men than women?
We typically see a lot of variation. Honestly, I don't really have.
So you say it's 50-50, just like.
No, I wouldn't even say 50-50. I would say it's too scattered to actually be aware. Because there are a lot of clienteles that don't reveal their age.
So you don't even.
Gender.
Okay, so that's not. Oh, that's interesting. So that's not important.
It's not. All I need to know is their name. That's it.
Okay.
And
do people ever give you like a different name? Do they
Yep.
ever? Okay.
There are people that have their preferred name, things like that. There are people in my community that are trans, people that are like all over the spectrum.
So they just go by
whatever.
Yeah. Can you just call me
such and such? As long as I have something to go off of, I can understand the situation that's going on and actually give them proper reading.
Okay.
Well, also some people will just give you their username.
Yep.
Because that's
what that was one. I guess that was one of the things I was trying to get at.
Yeah, I try not to use usernames because I like to make things a little bit more personal, and it helps with the experience for them as well. Because at the end of the day, the entire service is about them. It's not about me.
Right. That's correct. Okay. So that's interesting. I find that bit to be very interesting.
Wow.
And you said your age groups are all over the place.
Yeah.
Do you get? I mean, you're online, you're streaming online. You're online, typically, in my experience with you, later into the evening.
Yep.
10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. Do you get international people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do. We have several Russian viewers. We have several UK viewers. I think the strangest one that we've had so far is someone from Czechoslovakia.
I'm sorry, can you say that again? Because I coughed.
Czechoslovakia.
Okay.
Or the Czech Republic now.
Right.
They don't talk much, but we do occasionally have them on.
But for tarot?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The first one that was like really obscure to me was Russia. We have 3 viewers in Russia total, and they're on. We also have a few viewers from India, a few from I want to say South Korea. It's South Korea or Taiwan, one of the two. But yeah, we have a lot of international viewers.
Okay.
We do have a couple from Australia as well.
Okay. That's interesting.
And then we have our friendly neighborhood Canadian.
Yep, we have our friendly neighborhood Canadian, JJ.
Well, I just meant because you're in one time zone, but you're not, quote unquote, working in a typical,
Yep.
9 to 5 hour. Does that mean that you get to have the opportunity to
Absolutely.
do these kind of things with people from different parts of the world, not just different parts of the country?
The reason why I started streaming off so late and for so long early on into the career was to try to appeal to those different time zones, and that's what helped build the audience as a whole. Is because of the fact that we were not having normal time periods, is we were able to get multiple viewers from all across the world. When I was living in DC, there was a few streamers that I watched all over the world. And one streamer in particular I watched at the time was by the name of Fitz. He streamed at 9 o'clock in the morning, his time. But when I was getting it was right about the time that I was getting off of work, because he was in Australia. So I would constantly watch his streams, like right at the end of my work shift, or at where I was working, and I would just watch it on the metro home and just watch it all the way until he was done with the stream.
Okay, that's interesting.
So that's the really fun thing about streaming is, sure, you're streaming in your time, but you don't know who is watching where. You don't know what audience you're appealing to. You don't know where you're going to pop up. It's all about the tags. It's all about everything that you're doing to make things a little bit more interesting for the viewers that are looking to get the service out of you, or the experience of what you're doing out of it. There's a lot to it, and there's a lot of time and effort that you have to put into streaming. It's a lot of branding. It's a lot of promotion.
Well, we know that, yeah. But thanks for saying that again, for our listeners.
If anyone's interested in Twitch or streaming in general, I highly, highly recommend starting off with making a TikTok. As weird as it sounds, it really kind of jumped my career on Twitch a lot faster and has made my numbers go up astronomically. I was averaging about 3 viewers a stream when I had first started, and now I'm averaging around 10 to 15 viewers a stream upwards, which is just absolutely insane.
And your followers are now
raising at a much rapid rate.
What's the number?
I'm currently sitting at around 360 on stream.
And when you first started doing it, I remember you having like 15 people.
Yeah, it starts off small, but like in a couple years' time, you're gonna go from 10 to 15 viewers to like 300 viewers to like 1,000 viewers to 10,000 to 1,000,000. If you catch your lucky break on stream, you're gonna watch your numbers explode.
This is not an advertisement for Twitch.
Well, also on TikTok, you have over like 500 followers, right?
I am currently sitting at about 570 followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I have almost no crossover at the moment. Almost none of my Twitch viewers are followed me on TikTok.
Oh.
I only have a very small number of people that are following me on TikTok.
That's interesting.
But TikTok,
I have some people that are from TikTok bleeding over to the Twitch.
Although you have said that the age range of your viewers is very wide.
mm-hmm.
Yes.
The age range of people on TikTok, although it is also very wide, there is again, when we talk about percentages, a large percentage of people that watch TikTok
are
under your age group.
Yep.
They're younger than 22.
My age category on TikTok is currently between the ages of 15 to 25.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay.
It's a much less wide range, but it also depends on the category I'm making videos for.
Sure. Now, are you going to be doing TikToks to promote your new service where you're going to be doing tarot on OnlyFans? Okay.
I intend to.
And sorry, I don't know if you can hear me, but TikTok and OnlyFans kind of really go hand in hand as a
Absolutely. Yeah, they really do. There's a lot of crossover there. And the reason why I have my TikTok is I make a lot of different videos, so the categories that I'm making videos for vary for the age groups that I'm appealing to.
Okay.
So I have some that I do that are specifically geared towards like mental health. I have some that are specifically geared towards tarot. I have some that are specifically geared towards Twitch. And they all have their different variations of age groups.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if I make my tarot videos, they're more geared towards, like, like 18 to 25 to even further past.
Okay.
Some of my mental health ones are geared towards, like, 18 below.
Mm-hmm.
So, it really depends on the videos that I'm making, so it's trying to appeal to a wider audience.
Okay. So, this is really... It's been an interesting conversation. It's a nice conversation to have someone else on and talk about something completely different. And it's obviously something that I don't know squat about. But I at least have other personal experiences that I can relate to it. And as an anthropologist, I can at least follow along with what's going on, although I don't know the details, of it. And I really appreciate that, you came on and you talked to us about this. Because we knew it would be an interesting conversation. You and I knew that at some point I would get into a debate about something that would ultimately make Kes uncomfortable, because that's pretty much...
She thinks we yell at each other, and that's not how it is.
No, that's not how it is.
I can hear you.
Can you now?
Oh, good. Oh, thanks.
I'm glad you can.
So,
Also, I'm stealing this from you.
Kes, do you have anything else that you want to say?
No. Crap. Sorry.
We're going to put a bunch of links.
Yeah.
With information, and we'll have some photos of Wyatt's different types of decks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd like to show some photos of some of his main decks, especially the quote-unquote death cards that you showed,
absolutely.
so that we can, so that some of our listeners can see what they look like. And we'll actually try to put them into, well, not just in our Insta or on our Facebook, but we'll try to put them into, maybe into the YouTube part of it, because we can share other photos right in the video stream.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, other than just our two adorable faces.
Which we need to update.
For Under the Sun and Moon podcast. Yeah, because that photo was taken, I'm pretty sure, in early April, which is why we're both wearing jackets indoors.
Yeah, it's August now.
And now it's August, and the end of this week, it's supposed to be brutally hot again, which I'm not looking forward to, because we just had some really lovely weather.
And my birthday is going to be 80 degrees.
Yeah.
It doesn't say it's going to rain anymore.
I saw that. That's exciting.
Positives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be inside anyway, so it's not like it really matters.
Well, I hope we'll be inside, because I want to do piercings for my birthday.
So, I think we're wrapping up.
Yeah.
Do you have any last words?
Closing remarks.
Kes I usually say things like I just said, Wyatt, and then Kes comes around and says something else. We've noticed that. And
Say words.
Thank you.
Of course.
I don't really know what else to say. I'm sorry.
coming up soon, we're going to be talking about, Kes has some movies. If any of you remember the assignment where I told her the movies I wanted her to see.
Yeah, I gotta catch up
She
on my
has
homework.
not watched any of them.
I have been busy.
Yeah.
So-
these past couple of weeks have been a little hectic.
So we're going to get back to movies and talk about some of these movies in particular. We're going to be talking about, do you remember?
No, hang on a second. I wrote them down.
Oh, okay.
She's got a list. She told me about her list.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm waiting for her to bring it up.
I have to watch. That's not it. I have to. Where the hell is it? That's a picture. Okay, I have no idea where it is actually. I can't find it.
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
Ah,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. So we're talking about Joan Crawford.
Yes,
Okay.
I do remember that.
Right.
Oh, Mommy Dearest.
Mommy Dearest is the last movie you're going to watch.
Right.
Right. One of the movies that I wanted you to watch is called The Women.
Yes.
It's a classic.
I do remember that.
An absolute classic. We can watch it together if you'd like.
Yeah.
One of the great movies from Joan Crawford is Mildred Pierce.
Yeah. Okay. I remember that one
You've
too.
seen Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Yes, I have. But you want me to watch it again?
Well,
I think.
it just if you want a refresher.
Yeah.
on it. I've seen it a couple of times. I know you haven't because it's so messed up.
Yeah, it is. It's weird.
And I believe, let me just get this correct because I can't pull it out of my head right now.
Joan Crawford. It's like a.
Is it called Obsession?
No, I don't.
Possessed.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think
You guys
that's.
should watch Split and Glass and Mr. Glass.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Okay, we have.
And
We
that
can't-
Shyamalan's awesome.
We can't start talking about M. Night
Yes,
Shyamalan
Possessed.
now.
So Possessed. So it starts with The Women. We go to Possessed. Then we go Whatever Happened, Baby Jane. No, then we go to Mildred Pierce.
Mommy Dearest is the last one, right?
Mommy Dear. No. You cannot watch until you watch everything else. The last movie is Mommy Dearest.
Okay. Yeah.
That
All
is because I don't want your mind to be tainted. I remember I asked you to not even look it up.
Yeah.
I don't want you to research the movie.
I don't know squat about this movie.
Right. So I don't want you to be affected or have any preconceived notions before you watch these other films.
That's fucking cool.
But we're going to be coming back to that. And we're going to be talking about grief and dealing with grief again. Because we're coming up on the 2-year anniversary of the loss of my husband, Kes's father. But we're going to talk about, like, memorializing and some of the positive sides of grief.
Yeah, because we keep talking about all the harder things.
But they're things that people don't talk about, and they should.
Right.
It should be easier. It should be out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that we keep talking about.
Yeah. Flipping back to Wyatt really quickly, we cannot start talking about M. Night Shyamalan right now because we will keep going for another hour.
Oh, I believe it.
Oh, we should totally do an episode, though.
Yeah, because...
I'd be more than happy to come back just to talk about M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. I'm finishing up on a life coaching boot camp, and I'd really like to have my life coach on. Yeah, I'm wondering if we can do a conversation with Jennifer. I think she'd be interested in participating in that. So there's some other guests definitely that we would like to have in as well.
You could definitely have a bunch of guests.
And
so... an ample community that would love to talk to you guys.
And so with that...
On that note,
as Kes says.
This has been an episode of Under the Sun and Moon with Michelle and Kes.
Thanks
you for listening. Oh, jeez.
Want to try it again?
No, it's okay. I think that was good.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.